and welcome back to another episode of Game Overcast. I am David KAELIN, the Game Over CEO, and we're here with another wonderful week of retro gaming news and updates and current events and features and just the overall awesomeness of this show. Isn't that nice? So welcome back. Thanks for joining us. This is show number 11, I think. We had our big 10 anniversary last time, so this is exciting to make it show number 11. So let's jump into level 1 with some current events and see what's happening in the world of gaming. And we're back with level 1, the current events. So what's going on in the world of video gaming and retro gaming specifically in the past week? News in that, unfortunately, this is sad news, but I'm going to say this wrong too. Masayuki Uemura, the lead creator of the NES and Super NES, or the Famicom, Super Famicom, Japanese versions, but the creator of those consoles died December 6th at age 78. So, really sad loss for the gaming industry, specifically retro gaming, because both those consoles were, some of the most iconic retro consoles, ever created. They're still played and loved to this day. But basically, he led the team that created the original Famicom, NES system that brought the video game industry back after the crash of the early 80s, that made video games another must-have gadget again. So great guy, a sad loss. He lived definitely a very full life. And let's see, he joined Nintendo in 1971, released an original Duck Hunt home game, which was pre-NES. He had like a home version of that specific game. Then he worked on the home console to play games on the TV. He started on that at 1981, and then 2 years later released the Famicom in 1983, and then that became the NES for all of us in America. And went on to be legend in the video game world. So long live the legend. You will be missed. Thank you. In other news, let's see, Sonic Frontiers. We heard about this in the show last week and mentioned it. Was announced, so that will be the first completely open Sonic game. It's coming out in late 2022. The Sonic team is working on it. They've been on it, working on it for 4 years now, so it should be pretty amazing. That's a lot of time invested in that. It's going to be on current and recent gen consoles. So they've had some open type Sonic games, like the ones on Dreamcast and GameCube, Sonic Adventure, but this is supposed to be completely open, where you can just do anything, go anywhere, and tons of worlds to explore. And so we're really excited about that one. The trailer was shown on the Game Awards last week. It was really cool, so you should check that out on YouTube. Another Sonic news, also the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 trailer was released, and that looks pretty awesome. Sonic was one of those movies that came out, I think, early in the pandemic when, some people saw it in theaters, some people maybe saw it online, but, initially when they showed the design for Sonic, everybody kind of hated it. And then they responded and made some corrections, and the movie, I thought, actually turned out pretty great. And so it's exciting. There's 2 coming out soon. That's going to be coming out, let's see, I know I have that here, April 8th, 2022. So in about 4 months, that's coming out. So that'll be awesome. And the big news there is that the original cast is returning. Also, the original voice of Tails is going to still be Colleen O'Shaughnessy. And Idris Elba is going to be Knuckles. And Knuckles looks pretty badass in this trailer. So yeah, it seems pretty exciting. So I will be looking forward to that in April, and you should too. Again, you can check out the trailer on YouTube if you haven't seen it yet. Let's see. Speaking of video game movies, also has recently leaked that Netflix is working on a live-action Mega Man show, or actually movie, I think. Let's see. Yeah, live-action film version. So yeah, who knows about that? Could be good, could be bad. I mean, Netflix, all the video game stuff is coming back, right? And they're being made into TV shows and movies. And, the Castlevania series was really cool. The Witcher series was really cool. Like Cowboy Bebop, not so much. But I don't know. A live action Mega Man could be good. So I don't know any details about it other than they're working on it. And so, we'll wait to see how that turns out. But I actually do love the Mega Man games, and those are some of my personal favorites, the original NES Mega Mans. And so if they do it up right, I think it could be really cool. I'm excited to see what happens there. We will watch that. But as you know, I mean, anything retro is hot right now. So, everything from collectible cards like sports cards, Pokemon cards, retro video games, which of course all of us know and love. They're hot. They're being, made into movies and TV shows, and the values of the games themselves are going, through the roof lately. So everything retro is hot right now. It's pretty amazing time to be a kid of the 80s and 90s, because everything is coming back, and it's coming back with, so much additional, money and support behind it. I know when we were kids, video games was still kind of a minor part of your life. It wasn't really ingrained in the culture. The kids were into it, but it wasn't just so widespread. But now everybody's into gaming. And so it really it permeates all aspects of life, and there's merch, there's clothing, there's TV shows and movies, and so it's really a great time to be a gamer nerd in the world right now. So anyway, I'm sure lots of cool new stuff will be coming down the road. So that is it on national news and gaming news and retro news. So let's jump into the company-specific news. What's going on at your local Game Over stores right now? And so we'll go to level 2 and find out. And we're back with level 2, the company info. So what's going on at your local Game Over video game store lately? Let's see. So retro gaming tournaments just happened recently, just about a week ago. So the next ones are coming up the second Saturday in January, which will be January the 8th. Again, there are retro gaming tournaments at particular Game Over stores, one in each major city or area. And I don't know the games yet for the January tournaments, but if you check those store Facebook pages, they should have those set up now with the sign-up times and the rules and the game and all the info. It's 5 of our locations: the one in Bellevue, Washington, the one in Arlington near the Dallas area, the one in South Austin on Lamar, the one in San Antonio in the Selma area, kind of northeast side of San Antonio, and then in Houston on the northwest side on 1960. So check out those stores and their Facebook pages, and come out to the tournaments. They're free, fun, and you can win prizes. So a lot of fun there. Sales going on at Game Over Video Games. We're doing a Xbox sale on original Xbox games. That'll be from Friday, December 17th through Christmas Eve, Friday, December 24th. So that's 20% off all original Xbox games in stores and online on the website at gameovervideogames.com. You can use the online code XBOX20, XBOX20, and save the 20% there as well. Let's see. And then on Christmas Day, December 25th, for those of you that don't know that, that's Christmas, and it's coming up, so get out there and shop. But on Christmas, we are closed on the retail stores, but you can shop our website for an amazing Christmas sale, 20% off everything online with the code HOHOHO, HOHOHO. So you can do that on Christmas Day. That's a 24-hour sale from 12:01 in the morning to 12 midnight on Christmas Day. And 20% off is not too shabby. Let's see. In Classic Game Fest news, just a warning to any of you that are looking to have a booth there to sell your products at the biggest retro gaming event in Texas. Classic Game Fest is actually filling up really fast for next summer. The booth prices also go up on January 1st. So you only have a couple weeks left to get the current lowest price on a vendor booth. And then they go up to the next tier of pricing starting January 1st. So if you're kind of on the fence and you've been putting it off, now's the time, or you're going to be paying more in January, and you want to be there because it's the biggest thing in Texas. Anything else is tiny in Texas on retro gaming events. So you want to be at the big one, so come to CGF. Let's see. In the stores, let's see. In the website, an update for you. On our website, gameovervideogames.com, if you were going to be shopping there for Christmas gifts, sorry, you're too late. We can no longer guarantee Christmas delivery, because at this point we're just about a week out. And the way this year's been going, the post office, UPS, everybody's they're running late. The delivery dates sometimes change and get delayed. So we definitely and unfortunately cannot guarantee anything else bought from the time you see this video forward that it will make it in time for Christmas. But still, shop our local retail stores. A lot of good stuff there, and we will be open all the way up through Christmas Eve. We're open till 6 o'clock on Christmas Eve night. So any of your last minute retro gaming or video game, gifts that you need for people on your Christmas list, you can still check your local Game Over Video Game stores this week. But we'll be kind of busy, though. It will be crazy. So prepare for the potential for lines and the potential for us to be out of stock on some things, because this is the crazy time. You waited too long again. So don't do that. But no, the stores are still open. And the website doesn't take too long. Even if you order something this week from the website, it'll probably get there right after Christmas. So it's not that big a deal. But anyway, just wanted to give you a little warning that for web purchases. And that's about it. So that's going to wrap up the company info. So let's go to our feature section, level 3. And today we have a very special feature section. We're going to do a walkthrough in the Classic Video Game Museum that's on display at our North Austin store. So that'll be really cool to see. So let's go there now and check it out. All right, and we're back. Now we are standing in the Classic Video Game Museum located at our North Austin store, which is the original Game Over Video Games location, where it all got started. So in this store, and in some of our other stores now too, we have a museum set up with some of the original consoles just set up for display. Most of the consoles themselves in here are broken ones that we just kind of salvaged because they have nice looking shells, and we could do this with them to display to the world. So you can kind of get a taste of a lot of the different consoles that we buy and sell here at Game Over Video Games. So everything, just like in our stores, it's all chronological in here. So you start with the beginning. So you've got, like in this case, you start with like Ataris, some of the original Pong machines. A lot of the original video games like these Pong machines, the video tennis, this type of stuff. They were dedicated, right? There were no cartridges. You just plugged it into your TV and you had little controllers on there, either built in on the unit, or some of them had separate controllers. But it was just kind of a dedicated console. Then with the Atari and the Intellivision and some of these other ones, the Odyssey 2, then you had cartridge slots, and so you could interchange the games. We even have some of the old computers down here, Atari 800, Atari XE down there. In the 70s, I guess there was a lot of this stuff in the early 80s. They started thinking computers was the way it was going to go, and then you'd play all your games on computers. And so the consoles started to add keyboards, and they had basic programs where you could do some programming on them. But then in the 80s, they kind of split, and the computers kind of went their own way, and they had games, but they went kind of a different direction. And then dedicated gaming consoles were still there for all the gaming. The hardcore gaming, was on there. But yeah, lots of cool stuff in here. So Intellivision, ColecoVision, a lot of the original boxes here that came with the systems. I always loved the the 70s ones where you see the pictures of the people, like the families playing together. Oh, look, there's Dad and the kids, and after the kids go to bed and put their Space Invaders away, look, Dad's doing finances on the computer here on his Commodore. He's budgeting the checkbook and bouncing the checkbook and everything. And like on Atari, you always get these really excited people, playing. Oh, look, those guys, they're gonna battle it out in combat. Oh, look at this guy. Oh, he's so excited. Uh-oh, that doesn't look good for him. Look at that guy, super excited. A lot of older couples playing, which I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, nobody over the age of 30 played video games. But oh well. I guess when they were balancing the books after you went to bed, that's when they would play. But nowadays everybody plays. So now you can see older people playing video games, and it's not abnormal. But yeah, I love the cute pictures of the kids and the families playing. Then we come over here, we go into the 80s. So you got some Nintendo NES, you got a power pad, you got the piano keyboard, the Miracle piano. So you might not know that the NES had a actual electric keyboard that was an option for it. So a lot of cool little add-ons there for the NES. The consoles themselves, you got the Sega, the Master System 1 and 2. Then you got some Genesis below. Genesis 1, Genesis 2s, the CD, the 32X. Sega was all about add-ons, hardware-wise, so you'd kind of pile them on there. Like this setup required like 3 power adapters. It was pretty crazy. Genesis 2. Some cooler stuff too down here. You've got the CDX. That's the like an all-in-one Sega and Sega CD. That was a handheld. It was kind of like a Sony Discman was a popular handheld music device then, and so it was kind of designed like that. You could play CDs on it, and basically it was a Genesis too. XI, TurboGrafx, Jaguar, a lot of cool like 90s kind of systems that came out. A lot of these a bit under the radar, in the US, not huge successes. The Super Nintendo, 64, and then PlayStation 1 kind of dominated. But there were a lot of other cool ones in that time. So this is all the cartridge stuff. And then we come over into this side. This is all the disc systems. So you've got everything from the PlayStation 1 all the way to like a Wii or Wii U at the end there. But yeah, the 90s is when everything converted from cartridge to disc. So like PS1, you had a Saturn. We've got even an import Saturn in there. 3DO, a couple different models of those here, and here. Those were the first like full motion video gaming consoles. At that time they made video games like movies. It was like a choose your own adventure movie, and they would film it with actors, and then you would kind of choose whether they go like from one room to the next room, and you would control it just like a choose your own adventure storybook. And they thought that was the future of gaming, that there wouldn't be game designers, there would be actors, and they would film everything. And then that kind of died off. It was I think you're limited a little bit by having live action people versus what you can do on a computer, which is infinite. You can create all kinds of artificial worlds that you can't really create in a green screen with actors. So yeah, that kind of faded away. It's still out there from time to time now, but not as much. But yeah, then we go into, let's see, we got Sega Dreamcast, GameCubes. Those are all still very popular. Some of the last time that people did 4 controller ports on a system. I think Xbox was actually the one of the last to do that. When couch co-op was a thing, right? You would want to just plug a bunch of controllers into the console, and everybody would play in the same room on the couch. But then with PS2 and Xbox, that led into the era of online gaming. And then you didn't need 4 controller ports because the people you played with weren't in the same room anymore. They were across town, across the country, around the world even. And so yeah, then we go into the Wii, and obviously there's more after that we haven't put in the museum, but PlayStation 4, 5, there'll be more. There's always more. Yeah, so this is our kind of basic setup in this store. We also have a little bit more in the tower here. These are some of the just other unique pieces that we have at this location. There's a Rob, a Power Glove in the box. We've got some Game Boy boxes, a Virtual Boy, some of the tabletop arcade machines, even a Vectrex in the bottom there. So just a lot of cool stuff. Unique little pieces we've had over the years. It's a great photo op. So you can come in here and take your selfie and put it on social media. But it's a really cool thing that I like to do whenever we can and we have the space in the stores. I love to put some kind of added feature in there, like a museum or a wall of cool system boxes or something up where people can really kind of stand back and appreciate like the full variety of gaming that's come over the years, and all the different boxes and the changes, and you can see similarities between all the consoles from Atari up through Xbox, and then you can see the differences, things they've tried and maybe didn't work out, and then you don't see them ever again in the chronology. But then some things that do work out, and you see it in every single system. Normally there's like 2 controller ports. Normally there's a certain general look to a controller that's kind of carried through in time. And the Atari age had a similar controller. The NES and Genesis had a similar looking controller, and then the PlayStation Xbox era had similar looking controllers. So it's really fun to look at the history, and I really enjoy this part of gaming, is just reminiscing of all the cool old stuff. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this quick walkthrough of the Video Game Museum at the North Austin Game Over Video Games location. If you want to come check it out, it's at 911 West Anderson Lane. It's right on the corner of Lamar and 183 in North Austin. Yeah, you can come in here, and even if you want to just check this out, take a picture, come chat with the staff about classic video games. we're never a high pressure type of store, so you can always just come in, just talk, hang out, check things out. It's just a fun place to hang for gamers. So I hope you check that out soon, and I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough of the museum. So now let's get on to level 4 with the boss battles. And we're back with level 4, the boss battles. So this week for the boss battles, my boss battle is moving a store. So how, why, when would you uproot and move a store? And it happens. It's something that, there are reasons to do that. So why would you do that? You might be in a position to want to move a store because the new location is a better size. Maybe it's bigger or smaller, depending on, what's working out better for your company. Better price, obviously, like lower rent is better, and better visibility. I always like stores that have, the front of the store facing a major road or highway, if possible. Because you can always put your sign up on the big sign in the parking lot. But from my experience, people don't see those as much as they see the actual storefront. So it's better to me to have a store that's along the street versus a sign, like your logo on one of the big signs that's on the street, and then your store is kind of buried in the back of the shopping center somewhere. So better visibility, also better traffic. Various shopping centers and malls or locations where there's a lot of stores together, the foot traffic varies wildly. So you might have a place that looks good and the price is good, but if there's no people shopping there, no people on foot, no easy access for cars or mass transit, you might not get the traffic and therefore the sales that you think. So a lot of that goes into making a decision. When you initially get a store, if you're opening a business of any kind, you're going to sign a lease, right? And so the leases are never short, and they're never in the tenant's favor. So the landlord's going to put a lot of language in there that really restricts kind of what you can do and when you move, and they're going to want little bumps where your rent goes up and up and up every year or so. And so really your only real flexibility as a business or a tenant in a shopping center is when the leases come up for renewal. And so that's the time you can actually negotiate a few things, and at least try to negotiate, price and get maybe some free rent, or maybe an allowance to put in new flooring or new air conditioner, or if you want to move locations or something, within that center, you can make kind of the jump at that time. So my general thought on that is that, being in business, 16 plus years now, that, especially with the economy and retail in general, being kind of the roller coaster it's been these past few years, I definitely recommend shorter leases versus longer. They'll try and tempt you with the longer ones, but shorter is better because you want the flexibility as much as possible in your terms. You don't want it to be dependent on being locked in somewhere to a landlord or in a center that you might not like. So anyway, so that's the time to make the move, and some of the reasons to make the move. Is moving a hassle? Yes, it is a big hassle. You think moving your house is hard. A store is often, a similar size to a house, but infinitely more pieces of merchandise in there. Each of our store locations has at least 20,000 things in it. And that's just sellable things. So that's not counting the shelves and the glass cases and the fixtures and all that fun stuff that's super heavy, super awkward to move, hard to pack. So yeah, it's definitely a hassle. But again, sometimes it might be necessary or at least worth the effort. We haven't moved many of our locations over the years. Our location in South Austin, we've moved a couple of times. That one is now, I think, in its third location in about 12 years. All in the same general area, but just we keep, kind of finding kind of better locations or better deals down there in that area. But I really like the spot it's in now, so I think that one will stay there for a while. And most of our other stores have kind of stayed in the same place. We've had a few stores that were underperforming kind of right before COVID. We closed a few in the Dallas area. And one of the ones in Seattle had to close because the mall got leveled. So we couldn't really help that. But sometimes that happens too, where it's not really your choice to move or close a store, but it just kind of happens by force. But I do have some news that upcoming in January, we are going to be moving another one of our stores. That's our store in Houston, the one in Central Houston. It's always been a really good store for us, real solid. But because it's in downtown Houston, like right on the main highway, great visibility. So it's a super expensive shopping center to be in. As it turns out, the restaurant that's next to us wants to expand and into our space. And there's another space that's open that's just a few doors down. And so we're going to actually up and move that store in the same building, but just move it it's like 4 or 5 stores or doors down in the center. So that's going to be happening in January. And so hopefully on the show, I'll be able to give you some pictures, maybe a video walkthrough or something of the move, because it is pretty exciting. I think I enjoy that process. The ability to build a store from the ground up and merchandise it and do the layout and everything. I really enjoy that part of the process. And so that'll be fun to do in January. But yeah, so I just wanted to let you know that that's happening for us. And again, it's all of those reasons. Like, why would we do it? It's a better size. It's a better fit for us. The store we were in right now, it's actually pretty big. And so the new store is smaller. And, sometimes that can be good. Sometimes that can be bad, going from a bigger to a smaller store, or from smaller to bigger. But in this case, I think it's a much better fit because in the store we're in right now, there's a lot of empty space. And I think in the new store being smaller, it's going to be a tighter fit. It's going to be a better fit for what we do as a game store. So it's just I think going to be a really positive thing to move in there. And we'll update Facebook and Google and Yelp and all those listings and everything. And it's pretty crazy though, like when you move a store, and I'm sure in this case this will happen too. Like, even in the same building, like we're moving literally like 4 doors down in the same building. And there will be customers that will come to the door of the old store and think, "Oh man, they closed," and leave. Even if we have signs, and we have signs up now saying we're moving a couple doors down, and we'll have signs up after the fact saying, "Hey, we're still here. We're just a few doors down." Or if you just look up and you just look up at the building, like, okay, that Game Over closed. Oh, look, there's another sign right there that says Game Over. They must have just moved right there. People won't do that. And that's really sad, but we'll probably lose a little business over that, but hopefully not too bad. But I do like the new location. It also has a security roll gate in the front, which is pretty nice to have because as we've talked about in the past, like our stores do get broken into from time to time, and having one of those kind of like in a mall, it has like a metal roll gate because it used to be a cell phone store, so. But having that already built in is nice as an extra kind of layer of security. So reinforced security is always a good thing. But yeah, I mean, I really like the spot in the center better too. So in this particular instance, the store we have right now, it's a little big for what we need, and also it's on the far. Let me see from your perspective. It's on like the far left of the shopping center, and so the cars as they come, they actually they only see the shopping center in the store after they've already passed it. And so, people know we're there because we've been there for like 10 years, but it's better to move in that center towards the middle, which is like the main entrance. And so we're going to be almost right next to the main restaurant in the middle. There's a taqueria, taco shop, and we're going to be like right next to that, like one store down from that. But that's kind of like the main crossroads entrance of that center. And so I think by moving us to that point, we're going to catch a lot more traffic than the ones that would be driving by so fast and not even see our store until they, just crane their neck back to see it as they've already passed. So anyway, I'm excited about this one. I'm excited about the process. I'm excited about the prospects of being at this new location. And so that'll be coming up in January. Let's see. How is it done? So how do you do moving a store or even building a store from the ground up? So the process is, once you find the space and you sign your lease, you do the construction. It's like in our case, we'll have to add slat wall on the walls, like these lined, plywood sheets so that we can hang shelves and hooks on them. So we'll do that. We'll do paint. We'll do flooring. make it look all nice. Then I'll get in there and start setting up fixtures. Kind of work the layout of the store, the glass cases, where's the register going to go, all that kind of stuff. Get it all set. Then we will start moving some non-essential stuff over there. Clear out like the supplies, the stock room, any extra shelves or hooks, and then some of the like non-essential, non-high volume merchandise in there. And then you get down to the last couple of days when you're ready to make the full switch. And then you just, plan a day or two, get a bunch of help from the store, and we just move it all down. And in this case, it'll actually be great because it's in the same building. So we just put everything on a dolly and we're just going to roll it, down the sidewalk to the other location. So we don't have to like rent a truck or anything like that. So anyway, it should be a pretty smooth process, and definitely looking forward to that. So I will keep you updated on the Houston store in general, and you can kind of see what it's like to move a retail store. So we'll follow that process as we go on into the new year. And maybe we'll do that again because we're always looking at, again, like anytime a lease comes up, whether a store, we can get maybe on a higher traffic corner of the intersection into a bigger spot or a smaller spot, or depending on the situation, if it's better, cheaper, more visibility, if we can check any of those kind of boxes, that's the time to make those decisions, is when the leases come up. And so we actually have a lot of leases coming up soon, so we'll be making a lot of choices on that, and it's a pretty exciting time. But for the most part, the stores tend to stay where they are, but it's nice to have that option during this time to think about, could or should we consider relocating a store. But the good thing is none of them are closing. So all the stores are going to stay fully functioning. And if anything, we'll just move to better, locations. So that's our outlook to 2022 for moving stores. And as I said, it's definitely a fun time to move a store. It's hard work, but it's fun because you get to reimagine it. You get to, see it again with kind of fresh eyes. Everything is clean, when you have brand new slat wall and paint and flooring, everything, it's going to smell new, it's going to look new, and it's going to be all shiny and just very nice. So I'm excited about that because I love cleanliness, organization. Those are my things. So I'm really looking forward to that. So anyway, that is my boss battle. That is how to move a store, why to move a store, and to let you know that with one coming up, hopefully now that we have the podcast going, that I'll be able to show you some incremental steps along the way as we go through that process. So that's it for my boss battle for the week. And now let's go on to the bonus level with fan feedback. And we're back with the bonus level fan feedback. So thank you again for watching the show, listening to the podcast, emailing me at podcast@gameovervideogames.com, and sharing and commenting on all the streams of the show. I love to get your questions and comments and just thoughts about anything that you hear or see on the show. So now let's go into what we've gotten in the past week of feedback. Good comments, awesome video. It was really nice to hear all the great feedback. So thank you for that. And we do have a correction to make. On the last show, we were talking about Gary's, the new re-release game coming from Retrobit for the Sega Genesis. It's the side-scrolling shooter. Awesome game, crazy name. So we're kind of joking that it's like Gary's, and Gary's is like these guys, like two Garys. But apparently that's not how you say it. The actual way to say it is it's pronounced Guy R Us. So now Guy R Us, that sounds like a naughty club for women to go and see men dance around, right? So that doesn't sound right either. I don't know if we have any clip art of that place, but hopefully not. But anyway, so just so you know, and you don't find yourself in the predicament I found myself in by a little, mistake pronouncing that word, Gary's, it's pronounced Gyrus. Gyrus. So you can impress your friends and fellow gamers that you know how to say it, and the owner of Game Over does not. So, anyway, thank you for that feedback. I knew it was wrong. I knew it wasn't Gary's because I know Gary's and that's not it. But if you look at that word and how it's spelled, and then you hear Gyrus, it doesn't go together. I don't know, but it's one of those things. Cool game, stupid name. Anyway, moving on. Larry, my friend Larry. Hey, thank you for commenting on the show, and I'm going to call you out. I don't normally mention names in the comments. I don't know. I guess I always feel weird about doing that. But I guess I'm going to start, at least occasionally mentioning that, because if you comment, like it's a public thing, so it's not like you're going to feel weird if I mention you, right? I don't know. I hope not. But anyway, Larry's a great guy. Big fan of Game Over and Classic Game Fest, and I've known him for years. And so he's awesome. He said, great video. Awesome. Keep up the great work. He's saying that, he especially likes the clips at the end where we have some of the like bloopers or just some of the crazy stuff that is totally improvised on the show. Because I do have notes. I try and have like a format that I stick to, and I try and have notes to like keep me kind of on track. But he especially likes the part where I'm just totally ad-libbing and just saying random stuff, which is kind of my favorite part too, really. So anyway, so thanks for watching the show and commenting there. He also liked, I guess in the last show we were talking about Plock, and I, for like my first official playthrough of Plock, I made it 9 minutes, and so somebody commented that I was the 9-minute wonder, and so he was like, 9-minute wonder, that's weird. And yeah, it is kind of weird. So I guess. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that comment either. I guess that could be a good thing, 9-minute wonder, but I don't know. Maybe that's a bad thing. But anyway, so that's a weird comment there. Let's see. And he suggests, actually, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo for a good game that I could play on the show. So, yeah, I'll have to add that to the list of suggestions there. And I still want to get down on Tetris and Dr. Mario soon, too, and try those. Also, another regular commenter on the show, and I probably am going to say your name wrong, but Leptonics. Is that right? But Leptonics like comments all the time, watches the show. So thank you for your support. And they were saying like, they don't know what to do with this. I don't know if you can see this, but you remember the broken Super Nintendo? And I was like, hey, let me know what you want to do with it. And like, if you want to do something awesome with it, make a clock, give it as a gag gift. I don't know, do anything with it. Let me know. And I would, send it to you. Like I'll ship it to you for free, and you can just have it because it's just parts and stuff. But yeah, he's like, I don't know what I can do with that. Yeah, I agree, because we really haven't had that many people wanting it, and nobody's had a good idea of what to do with it. It's just kind of, it is what it is. It is what it looks like. It's kind of garbage. So I think instead of giving it away, since nobody really wants it and really has anything to do with it, I'm just going to trash it. So I hate to trash stuff, but yeah, I'm going to throw it in my box, throw it out. It's done. All right. R.I.P. Super Nintendo. Let's see. And other comments here. Also, he suggested that there's not as many people wanting to play actual retro games on retro consoles anymore, because a lot of people do the digital thing and do like MAME machines and stuff like that, or RetroPies. And, it's a constant battle for us in the retro gaming community, because we love and support the actual machines, and we'll sell new third-party machines that play the games, but only the ones that are legal, right? Like we don't support any of the ones where it's like, this includes 9,000 retro games on it. Those are so illegal. So we don't do anything like that. But yeah, we're always, all about getting people into retro gaming, the actual games, the actual systems. And that's why we do stuff like tournaments, and why we have museums in our stores, and why we don't buy and sell bootleg, or illegal, consoles or games, because we're all about the authentic stuff. So that's what Game Over is all about. Another comment too, we mentioned Intellivision last time on the show, and how they actually had an adapter for Intellivision that lets you play Atari 2600 games on it, which is pretty cool and unique in the gaming, to have a device that actually lets your device play your competitors' games. Like it's kind of like it's a really shrewd business move, because on the one hand you're saying like your own games aren't enough, or your competitors' games are better, but on the other hand you're like, well, we just want everybody playing our machine, and so we'll take any game and just make it play on our machine. So it's kind of genius, kind of crazy, but he was saying that as cool as that sounds, that it's weird to play 2600 games on an Intellivision controller, because they had that controller with all the, it looks like a telephone. It has like all the number buttons, and it has the disc at the bottom for control. And so, yeah, I've never actually done that myself. I don't have a working, Atari adapter for an Intellivision. I have an Intellivision and I have an Atari, but I don't have that adapter. But I'll have to see if I can get one of those for maybe a future show, and we'll do like a comparison to see what it's like to play Atari games, because I know and love a lot of Atari games, but I've never played them that way. So that would be kind of fun to do on a show. So let's see. Other feedback, again, the Christmas sale at Game Over, don't forget about that. So the stores are closed on Christmas Day, but we're doing 20% off online. The coupon code is HO-HO-HO, and you can buy some stuff from us and save money. So also don't forget to get out there and do your Christmas shopping. We are getting very close to Christmas at this point. It's like a week away. It's probably too late to get things shipped. So, not only is GameOverVideogames.com not really a great option for that anymore, but neither is, Amazon or Walmart or Best Buy. I mean, they're all hitting those deadlines where you can't really get gifts and know you'll have it by Christmas. So you're going to have to do it old school. You have to go out in your car to the mall or to the retail shopping centers and go into stores like Game Over and buy stuff in person. We love that. Our stores are an experience in themselves to check out. And so we would love you to come check out our stores this week as you do your final Christmas shopping. So please come in and check us out. All the stores are open 11 to 8 up through Christmas Eve. And then Christmas Eve, we close at 6. So come check us out. But that's it. That's it for the week. So thank you to all of our fans. Thanks for supporting our stores and shopping at GameOverVideogames.com and in person in our stores. Thanks for listening and watching the podcast. And every time you share or comment or give me questions and feedback on the streams and the social media pages, I really appreciate that. It helps me to have things to talk about the next week, and also it lets me know that I'm really connecting with you and that we are, engaged in a conversation through this show. And so I really enjoy that. So I hope you all have a great week. Get your Christmas shopping done. Play some retro games when you can. Try and relax through all the craziness. And then join us again next time on Game Overcast. So that's it for now. Game over.
You need a joke to warm you up?
Yes.
Okay, so...
Yeah, it's early, I'm cold, I'm tired, I'm stressed. So entertain me, Dan.
Okay, so a frog walks into a bank.
Okay.
And he walks up to the counter, and a squirrel is behind the counter, and he goes, hi, what's your name? And she goes, I'm Patty Whack. And then he goes, oh, okay. Well, so I need to take out a loan for $50,000 to go on vacation.
Okay.
And Patty's like, whoa, that's an expensive vacation. She's like, well, if you're going to take that much out, we're going to need some kind of collateral. And then he goes, okay, I'm good for it. My dad is Mick Jagger. She goes, well, that's not collateral. I need some kind of like physical thing that's, that's worth money that we can make the exchange. So you can get it back when you pay us back. And he's like, oh, gotcha. So reaches into a pocket. He pulls out a tiny porcelain elephant. He places it on the counter. Ding! He says, this should do it. And the squirrel looks at the frog, and then she looks at her manager. She's like, give me a minute. So squirrel walks up, Patty walks up to her manager behind the door, and she goes, there's a frog out here who wants to take out this loan, and he says his dad is Mick Jagger. And then I asked him for collateral, and he gives me a porcelain elephant. What's the deal with the elephant? What do I do? And the manager looks out, and then he says, oh, it's a knick-knack, Paddywhack. Give the frog a loan. His old man's a rolling stone.
Holy That is amazing.
You're warmed up now?
Oh my gosh. That's really good. And for me to just put you on the spot, tell me a joke too.
I had that one in the can for a while.
Oh my gosh. Well,
the opportunity.
Good things come from sitting in the can for a while. Apparently.